Okay, so I've heard a lot about this Gollum game, and I do mean heard because I was listening on my headphones to these reviews while I was at gym getting swole. And so I haven't seen the videos, I haven't seen much gameplay, I've just seen a couple pictures. And with the reviews sounded kind of funny, so I thought, why don't I look at this from an art direction standpoint and see what went wrong or even how the art is, because by the sound of the gameplay and the controls and the story, if the art's the same as that, then I don't know how they're going to sell anything. So I'm just going to watch the video on Steam, and they should have a mix of gameplay and cinematics, and I'll judge by that. Here it says game in development, does not represent final quality. And down here it says activate Windows, because I haven't activated my Windows yet. Naughty boy. Okay, let's see. Play. Okay, already first thing I notice is that the material on those fish skeletons look a bit extreme. It doesn't look like bone, it looks like carved, polished marble, but maybe that's how fish bones are in Middle Earth. I read Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but you know, my memory's not that good of the descriptions of stuff, of fish bones and that, and I haven't read the other materials, so I'm not really going to judge much on that through this whole thing. Like if Tolkien wrote these people have blue sleeves and this game company makes them with red sleeves, I don't care. That's for someone else to worry about. I'm just looking at it purely from why do I get stuck for words? I don't know. As a standalone production, that's what I'm looking at it, how I'm looking at it. So this shot looks cool, actually. I like how the light beam's coming down, focused on Gollum. He's doing his thing. All around him, it's kind of dark. It's just him and that fire, so it really draws in your eyes, and the rocks around are kind of sharp and jagged, so it doesn't look like a very welcoming place. That's quite nice. If the game's like that, then people... Oh, what was that? Okay, yeah. This is something I noticed from the images, but I wasn't sure until now. I don't want to be mean. I'm not a mean person, normally. But Gollum looks like that guy who got the flesh-eating disease, and he had to have his lips replaced with skin grafted from other parts of his body. I'm not trying to be mean to this guy. It was horrible what happened to him. But Gollum looks like that. That's what I think of every time I see that face. I think of that guy, the poor unfortunate guy. You could probably say it's like a Simpsons mouth or something as well, because his cheeks and around his eyes are so dark, and then for some reason where this cleft is around the mouth, it's completely clean. It's like apish. It's like cartoonish. It's weird. It's distracting. Okay, I'm guessing this is in-game because of the way that you can really see these are just, you know, textures with a bump map on it, and you get the sort of simple black shadows, and it's almost like all the same. That's how you see that it's in-game, or that it's a bump map. It could be cinematic, but it just reminds you of older games, actually. And something that stands out to me straight away is that all these trees are the same green, but they're not the same tree. So I mean, they have weeping willow in the background here, and then they have, I don't know what these look like, cherry trees. You know, if you're gonna go fly over some place, if it's like got conifers or pine trees or something, they're all the same color because they're all the same tree basically, especially if they're evergreens. But if the trees change color in the seasons. They won't all change exactly at the same time. You know, some will be yellow, some orange, some still have flecks of green. And even if you have a regular place like this where they have different trees, you would expect that the trees would be different shades of green. Some of them might be brown, some of them might have olive in them. This just looks really flat, like the vines and the creepers are the same color as the trees down here. There might be one or two little, there's one little there, one happy little tree, and one there. But yeah, it would help sell the realism if the trees were more varied. This is nice and atmospheric. This is nice. I like those flying fireballs. Okay, this shot, this is really cool. I'm guessing cinematic or some sort of like in-game cinematic where they have more time to set up the cameras and stuff. What I like about this is that it gives you that sort of path with the warm light. You can see it going up the stairs to the door. So it almost tells the character, hey, this is the way you must go. But then around the path, it's got sort of desaturated and cool lights, blue lights, white lights. So these are the places the character can go hide, and it's quite clearly defined. So I think that's cool. And it's got these points of interest, the candles or the flames. Something that looks strange is these IKEA ceiling lamps. I'm not sure how it is in Middle Earth. I don't think they have lamps. I think their technology is either fire or magic, and these could be magic, but they don't look magic. They just look like normal ceiling lamps that you would go get from IKEA or someplace that also sells furniture. Okay, let's continue. This is not about furniture. This is about games, okay? Don't get distracted. Okay, we have some humans here. Gandalf. I'm still not sure where they're going with the faces. Are they trying to be real? Are they trying to be cartoonish? Because Gandalf also looks a bit cartoonish, but not as much as Gollum. And his hat looks like it's made of wood. And this looks like it's supposed to be a strap around the hat, but it's part of the same model, the same texture, and the same material. So it looks weird. It makes it look like one large wooden hat. Maybe is that someone can say if in the book he has a wooden hat, but I don't think so. Okay. So something I noticed straight away is this bloom on Gollum's shoulder, which makes me think that they used Unreal Engine, because this is something that I noticed. I haven't used Unreal a lot, but for the brief time that I did use it, I noticed that the default bloom is quite extreme, and you have to go and dial it in to make it look good. If you don't dial it in, you get these extreme hotspots like here on the shoulder where just all the detail is lost. And it kind of makes sense on the helmets, on the shiny materials, like on this guy's shoulder, on his helmets, it's metal. But on Gollum, this is very unnatural, that you would have this amount of light and bloom on his shoulder and then nothing or so much less on these guys, unless you had even if you had a spotlight on them, it wouldn't just be on the shoulder, it would be on the back here, it would be on the head. So this unnatural bloom kind of pops out to me always. But yeah, stuff's looking okay. The skin on the orcs looks a bit weird and plasticky, but this is not the final product apparently. Okay, this shot. Here you see his skin looks good. Everything's more in balance, so that the skin looks like it's being lit or lighted by the same source as these rocks around, and fits in with the background. So that's kind of more what I would expect. Okay, this armor looks weird. It doesn't make me think Lord of the Rings. It makes me think more like Fifth Element or something else altogether. It just looks too top heavy, and again, it's got a bit of a cartoonish proportion to it. Orc face. See, that orc face was very realistic compared to Gollum. Okay, Gollum running through the caves. I think he's missing a shadow. So the shadow on him is so strong, but there's no shadow on the ground. It looks like he's not in the scene. It looks like he's overlaid, like you've cropped him from something else. The lighting looks okay. If there was, say, lightning outside and it shone through this cave mouth and he's wet, you would expect maybe some bloom like that. So in this case, I would say it's okay. And those rocks look really good. The wet rocks especially. I think they've used a mega scan for this because it just looks too good. So a mega scan, if people don't know, that's when you take like a 3D scanner and a camera. So you actually scan the shape of the rocks and stuff, and then you overlay the photograph, and so you get this very realistic looking effect or result. Okay, let's see. He's climbing, he's crawling, he's attacking. There's pigs, wait, let's go back to that. That's a cool shot. Very nice. Nice backlight, it's ominous, everything's well balanced. It's got a good, like the light source you see on the rocks up here and on his head and on the rocks here and his skin. That's all coming from something on the right hand side, and then the light coming down from the top here is reflecting on this guy's sword and the handle, and it's just popping off nicely. So this is another thing that I think this could have been taken from a piece of concept art or something. Like that intro shot where he's carving the rock, it looks like they planned that and they had a piece of concept art to work from when you compare it to some of the other stuff. There's that weird mouth again. I think what it is that they've taken cartoon proportions and they've made a realistic texture over it, and it's kind of like there's some images of Mario and Simpsons and Pac-Man and Lego men where they take the toy or the cartoon and they give it realistic skin and stuff, and it always looks creepy. I think that's what's happened with Gollum here. That's a very nice shot. Characters in the light, this atmosphere, there's flowers along the path. I could imagine playing a game like that, sort of Crash Bandicoot style, running along the path, and then you just got this nice scenery around. And it's a nice contrast to the stuff that's happening in the dungeon. This, okay, it says up at the top here, general cinematic story trailer. Okay, that's not the shot, that's the whole trailer. This makes me think, this shows me that these guys actually know what they're doing. Like you can judge the whole game and say there's a lot of shit. You can point out all the mistakes like I'm doing. But a shot like this tells me that they have some good concept art, and they're able to take that concept art and put it into 3D and get it in the game, because that's what this is. This shot is perfect. The backlighting, the separation of the background to the foreground. This background has more pastel colors. It's got this, of course, on this side here, it's more hazy, bluish, and then the foreground's more warm. They've got some nice foreground bush here, so it really gives the whole thing depth. And then the characters are the focal point, and you can kind of follow the path that they're going to walk along, and you can also let your eyes wander around once you've looked at the focus. So for all the shit people are giving the game, and maybe that the team are feeling, maybe they wouldn't be happy with all the feedback that they're getting, I think looking at a shot like this, you can at least say that, you know, they can do it. Whatever happened that made this game go awry, doesn't mean that they all bad game makers, because they can do it. It's just that, you know, it doesn't always work. That's a nice shot. The camera's going behind, and the blacks and the reds, nice framing. Gollum down lower. It's like a shot that's conveying a lot of meaning. It's very cool. Here again, you have this bloom that is so strong, it looks like it's radiating from his body. Like he's one of those little sea creatures that when you disturb them, is it plankton? Some type of plankton, you disturb it and it illuminates. He looks like that, like this is radiating from his body. It's so bright. This shot is more normal here. That's how it would look. Well, I mean, in real life, actually not, because you would need a big spotlight. But I mean, in a setup night shot, it would look like this. In a well done setup night shot. There again is these weird proportions, cartoon proportions with realistic skin. Maybe it looks like a child that has progeria. That's why maybe it's so unsettling. That he's got an adult nose, but the baby head, and sort of wrinkles like a 70-year-old person. It's strange. I think this confirms what I thought about the intro shot, where we were seeing the forest and stuff. I think that was in-game, because here we have an in-game shot, and it's making me think again of old PlayStation 2 sort of level games. Although in your memory you remember games a lot better than they were. You think, oh, those games on PlayStation 1 and 2, I'm going to go back and play them, they were so awesome. And you go back and you look at it all, like I remember the Thundercats animation being awesome, and you go back and you watch an episode and they don't even move. It's just their mouth, and then sometimes the wrong character speaking, sometimes the color's wrong, sometimes they're missing arms or something. Now you notice all those things because you're an adult, but when you're a kid, you don't notice it, and you just have these really good memories. So I think this is obviously better than a PlayStation 2 game, but it reminds me of that level. When I was playing those games, I was thinking it looked like this. And again, it's just got the bloom on him is just crazy, and it's just on him. Maybe these clouds in the background as well. You're losing detail. He doesn't have a shadow again, as the amount of bloom on him and the missing shadow really pulls him off from the background. Pulls him off. Sorry, oh, there we go. So there again, he's got no shadow. It looks like sometimes he has a shadow, sometimes he doesn't have a shadow. Okay, this is not the final product, yeah. But like that lever, you can really see it's placed there. It's an asset because it has no shadow. There's no missing light or ambient shadow around the base of that thing where it joins the wood. There's nothing under Gollum. So maybe this is all just baked. And baked lighting, for people who don't know, that's like when you sort of pre-light something. So you make it in 3D, and then you shine your light on it, and it makes the shadows, and then you remake that texture, you extract that texture from the object with the shadows included, and then you put it on the object and you put it in the game. So the shadows are sort of permanently on the object. And when you see the object in the game, it looks like it's being lighted from the light in the scene, but actually the shadow's like fake, it's on the object. And it looks like they might have done some of that. Okay, these are very quick cuts, I can't really see much. Okay, that looks like it. Are they going to flash something on the screen now? No, it's just black. Okay, well, yeah, I can give a conclusion then. My conclusion is that these people know how to make games, or at least they can. It's possible. I don't actually know which studio it is. I don't know any of the other games they make. I haven't looked it up. All I heard was this this bad review, and at least from the artwork I can say that I think given the right circumstances, they can do it. So something, at least the gameplay side, something happened. Maybe you can get some interviews from the people who actually work there, and they can tell their stories, because it's normally, you know, with game production, targets can change and people leaving the studio, other people coming in. Sometimes it's the people at the top wanting last minute, hey, we need to make this single player game, we need to make it multiplayer, and that, which sounds like, okay, that's not so hard, we just let people, you know, grab the guns and play multiplayer. But it doesn't work like that, because every little change you make has this sort of knock-on effect. Like, okay, and now we have that, okay, we've got to balance the damage, and we're going to balance the damage. Okay, what happens with these guns, or what happens with the sniper rifle? Now it's too powerful. And what happens with the amount of team players that we're going to have? And it just gets bigger and bigger, and it snowballs. And then you might just be starting to figure that out, and then they come back and they say, oh no, you know what we like now? Have you heard about Battle Royale? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, that thing that was popular 5 years ago. And they go, yeah, we want some of that, you know. Make it a Battle Royale. And you go, well, we just kind of spent 6 months really cramming to get this multiplayer. And they said, we want Battle Royale, because that's what the kids want, and our game has to have everything. And then, yeah, all this crap happens. So and there's a million reasons why it could have been, why it went bad or why it went wrong. And hopefully they don't go out of business because of this, and hopefully they get another shot to redeem themselves. And that's it. See you next time.